I know some students are still filing in, but we're going to get started. Welcome to the Burlington High School 12th Annual Poetry Out Loud Final Competition. You should all applaud that we are here. Okay, we have some amazing, your peers are amazing, they've been practicing these poems. They are going to begin their recitations momentarily. First, I have a few announcements to make and some introductions, and we also have a guest poet to start us off today. So the first thing I want to remind you is that this level of chatter is not respectful when you have someone performing on stage, right? So you guys were all in the classroom, you know what it's like to recite a poem in front of your peers, it's hard work. Make sure you give the people on this stage the respect that they deserve. So to start that off, if you could just put away your phones, shut off your devices, make sure that you have no distracted attention, you are all focused on what's going on up here, that would be great. I'm also going to spend a little time to introduce our judges. We have some amazing judges who are helping us out today. First, we have Marissa Jones, who is the education consultant at Huntington Theater. Thank you to Marissa. We have Nicole Monk, who's the young adult librarian in the Burlington Public Library System. Thank you. We have Michelle Garcia, who is a freshman at UMass Lowell, and she's a member, or has been a member of the Brave New Voices Youth Slam team. Thank you. And Nathan Piccini, who is a member of the Burlington Cultural Council. He's also a history department chair at Austin Prep. Thank you. And you guys all know Miss Graham. She is going to be our accuracy judge, so give it up for Miss Graham. Okay, so before we have your peers and classmates come up and recite the poems that they have memorized, you guys are lucky. We have Michelle Garcia, who is one of our judges. She is going to come perform some of her original pieces. Again, she is currently a freshman at UMass Lowell. She's studying creative writing and sociology. She has been in the Louder Than a Bomb Youth Slam Massachusetts program for many years, and the Poetry Club students have had the opportunity of seeing her work and have been amazed by it. She's also competed in an international competition, Brave New Voices. She is on the board of directors for Mass Leap. She has a huge resume. It's very impressive. Her work is really personal. It deals with her life and her experiences and social justice, and I'm really excited for you to hear what she has to say. So let's give her a warm welcome.
When asked about my thoughts on God, I don't know what I think of God, but I wonder if he ever gets tired of being. Like sometimes you don't have to jump into the water to know the feeling of drowning. Like maybe he sits in heaven and feels like falling. But what if God is more human than we think? Like sometimes when I pray, I don't ask for anything. I tell him that today, I just wanted to thank him. When was the last time you asked God if he was okay? Because what if God doesn't feel like being God some days? What if he watches Emmett Till and Oscar Grant hang together in heaven? Like there was something about populatory hymns that made him feel more grounded, made him never want to leave the comfort of his cotton field sheets again, like maybe that's what daylight savings is. Giving God more time to convince himself to get out of bed in the morning. But what if God never wanted to leave his kingdom again? Would you give him meds? Would you watch him drink the pain away? Would you dare to call him an alcoholic when his blood turns into wine? What if God is just broken like the rest of us? Like he created a whole universe to try and fill his empty. Like sometimes he feels it consumes him. Like sometimes he feels the sun scorch his skin. Like sometimes he feels all the black boys burning on his back. I'm talking about Baton Rouge meets Ferguson. Like I heard Jesus was black, so what does that make him? But what if she was never him to begin with? Like what if God was a woman? What if she sounded like my mother when she cries? Bent her spine in hopes of someone finding home in her? Would you hold her? Would you tell her it's all right? What if I just wanted a man to hold me, so I made her he? What if God is more human than we think? Like, what if God was a poet? Like, what if the 12 disciples were all just part of his slam team? Like, what if his scriptures are just poems and the Bible is his anthology? Like, what if he crucified his poetry before his son? Like, what if God is just always performing? Like, maybe God was the first one to make his pain sound pretty. Like, maybe God writes from his wounds too. Like, he too becomes atheist when asked about his Savior. Like, he can never trust himself to preserve himself. Like, he too, symbols in his sadness, finds a simile to satisfy all secrets. Like, this is what makes God a writer. What makes me more poet than person, more burden. But similes never saved the soul. Never gave my pain more purpose than for the ashes of my poetry. Never made God more human or me more godly. Like, what if it was never God who saved me? It was poetry. Hey, Burlington. So my name is Michelle Garcia. I'm an Afro-Latina poet. I go to UMass Lowell. I do poems. Sometimes I say them out loud. I'm going to do some new pieces for you guys, some other pieces for you guys. So, let's take this journey together. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. So I just did the transition. I'm writing on page a lot more now, and I was reading Clint Smith. He's an amazing poet, and I have two poems that correlate with each other. They're poems basically talking to each other, and so this is the first one. This is called Letters from a Poet to Her Mother Tongue on Not Calling Home or on Being Disowned. Mama, I don't dream about you anymore. I imagine I once did before the world could hold me still. I am my mother's daughter. Still let lineage line my stomach. Still, even when your arms weren't always. Trying to remember your voice, Mama. I am afraid of you not understanding who I've become. Unable to cut colonizer for consonants. Never able to speak in home, Mama. My syllables are banana leaves hanging among all the bodies that will never speak in home again. Abuela's ghost always finds her way over on Thanksgiving, brings with her everything she could afford to carry or could not afford to leave. I keep trying to find you in the melanin you left behind. I just find myself forever being sweet enough to be swallowed or to want to be consumed some days. I can't afford this body of water that has become womanhood. Don't know where we begin after we forget how we left off or who it was we left behind. You never taught me how to call, only to know resurrection as calling, to know the skin as home. So the two poems I'm doing on my phone, I've never performed them out loud, so we saw how that went. And so my next piece, first of all, happy Black History Month, right? It should probably be they should probably put it in your textbooks, but they won't. But, we still have Black History Month. And I'm Afro-Latina, which means, I'm Hispanic, but I also identify with all the Afro-Caribbean ancestry that I have. And so this is about that. Me and salsa first fell in love on February 14th, 1998. It was my parents' first time dancing. I was conceived to the son Cheche Kole from Mulikulong himself. Don't ask me how I know that. All I know is that my mom says they didn't finish the song, that I was birthed from the blended blackness of the South Bronx barrios where all began. I was 13 when my tío taught me how to dance. He said, oye, ¿cómo va? Este ritmo. Salsa was a sound Afro-Caribbean slave shackles made when they broke open. Was the blending of bodies and the rolling of tongues. And my mama has the thickest Dominican accent, she says. I got my hips from my great-great-great-grandmas. The one that could trace a plantation on the inside lining of her thighs. The one that cut her hands on sugar canes and screamed, "Azúcar!" before Celia Cruz could. Mama says I inherited privilege wrapped in poplar leaves, that I am cocoa beans drenched in honey, that they'll try and dance all the Afro-Latina girl out of me. Psh, I tell her there's no one dancing me. You see, my abuela was a Spaniard, but my abuela was a Caribbean queen who knew what's white rice without black beans. And salsa is café con leche on Sunday mornings. Salsa is loose hips and sharp tongues, the serenade for the slave and the slave master in me that want me to stop dancing. But I won't, and I can't, because the concrete can't kill if you're dancing with it. It can't stop the tumbao, an earthquake of drums and loud laughter, and I am the crack culture in the inside of my grandmother's hands, a cellulite painted portrait in broken Spanish and papier-mâché melanin. I'm Willie Colon's future wife, an endless array of similes about the sun. And salsa taught me how to dance to a century of Afro-Caribbean survival. You guys are too nice to me. Too nice. Get my self-esteem up, it's kind of low. I'm just playing. So this is the last poem I'm gonna share with you guys. I can't wait to hear all the poets come up. And make sure you're showing them a lot of love, because this isn't easy, and it's really nerve-wracking. And imagine doing a presentation in front of your classmates and you're like, I don't really wanna do it. Now you're doing it in front of half of your school. So this is letters from a mother tongue to her daughter. So it's a response to the first poem I read on my phone. You, daughter of womb and water, to hold a war that is not yours but lives within you. Just like your mother, who drowns in the body of water within her. Tu niña, daughter of the sky, are resurrected from ash and dust, know only the taste of afterlife. Hold trauma in your uterus, where I once held you, who don't remember being rebirthed from resilience, who can't remember the earth first spoke in Spanish, speak home in all its crevices, holds love in the language she cannot grasp, is bound by one that betrays her body, betrays her mother. Hija, know you hold the wounds of 100 women before you. I gave you this world before I delivered the sun, before you could become everything that stayed. No fear is only the love we are afraid to lose. I did not give you wings so you could run. I did not make you into a home so you could wake up in flower beds. Do not be afraid of who you are. No, I left you with everything I could, with everything you needed. Do you not still dream? In flesh, in bone, in skin? Do you not still dream in Spanish? Do you not still dream our history? Hija, remember what made you. Do not forget your people. Do not forget their blood. Do not forget the way you were taught to love in lineages, mi niña. Do not forget to call your mother tongue. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you to Michelle. As always, amazing. I am impressed by you every time I hear you speak, so thank you very much for sharing. We are going to shift gears a little and have our student poets come up here and recite their poems. We have first up, let's see, who do we have? Anyanya Gujar.
Please Don't, by Tony Hoagland. Please don't tell the flowers. They think the sun loves them. The grass is under the same simple-minded impression about the rain, the fog, the dew. And when the wind blows, it feels so good they lose control of themselves and swab toggle wildly around. Bumping accidentally into their slender neighbors. Forgetful little lotus eaters. Solar-powered hydraulics drawing nourishment up through stems into their thin green skin, high on the expensive chemistry of mitochondrial explosion, believing that the dirt loves them, the night, the stars. Reaching down a little deeper with their pale albino roots, all dizzy Gillespie with the utter sufficiency of everything. They don't imagine lawnmowers, the four stomachs of the cow, or human beings with boots who stop to marvel at their exquisite flexibility and color. They persist in their soft-headed hallucination of happiness. But please don't mention it. Not yet. Tell me, what would you possibly gain from being right?
Okay, looks like our judges are set. Our next contestant is Ivy Saltzman.
On Virtue by Phyllis Wheatley. Oh, thou bright jewel in my aim, I strive to comprehend thee. Thine own words declare wisdom is higher than a fool can reach. I cease to wonder, and no more attempt thine height to explore or fathom thy profound. But, O my soul, sink not into despair. Virtue is near thee, and with gentle hand would now embrace thee, and seek her, court her with her promised bliss. Auspicious queen, thine heavenly pinions spread and lead celestial chastity along. Lo, now her sacred retinues descend, arrayed in glory from the orbs above. Attend me, virtue, throw my youthful years. Oh, leave me not to the false joys of time, but guide my steps to endless life and bliss. Greatness or goodness, say what I shall call thee, to give me an higher appellation still. Teach me a better strain, a nobler light. Teach me a better strain, a nobler light. O thou, enthroned with cherubs in the realms of the day. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, judges. Our third contestant is Grace Visco.
I am offering this poem by Jimmy Santiago Baca. I am offering this poem to you since I have nothing else to give. Keep it, like a warm coat when winter comes to cover you, or like a pair of thick socks the cold cannot bite through. I love you. I have nothing else to give you, so it is a pot full of yellow corn to warm your belly in winter. It is a scarf for your head, to wear over your hair, to tie up around your face. I love you. Keep it. Treasure this as you would if you were lost, needing direction. In the wilderness, life becomes when mature, and in the corner of your drawer, tucked away like a cabin or hogan in dense trees, come knocking, and I will answer, give you directions, let you warm yourself by this fire, rest by this fire, and make you feel safe. I love you. It's all I have to give and all anyone needs to live, and to go on living inside when the world outside no longer cares if you live or die. Remember, I love you.
Okay, next up we have Luis Villalta Santana.
I'm Trying to Break Your Heart by Kevin Young. I am hoping to hang your head on my wall in shame. The slightest taxidermy thrills me. Fish forever leaping on the living room wall. Paperweights made from skulls of small animals. I want to wear your smile on my sleeve and break your heart like a horse or its leg. Weeks of being bucked off, then all at once, you're mine. I want to call you thine, to tattoo mercy along my knuckles. I assassin down the avenue. I hope to have you forgotten by noon, to know you by your knees, palsied by prayer. Loneliness is a science. Consider the taxidermist's tender hands trying to keep from losing skin, the bobcat grin of the living. Thank you.
Okay. Our next contestant is Zion Sharka.
Here by Joshua Mahegan. Nothing has changed. They have a welcome sign, a hill with cows and a White House on top, a mall and grocery store where people shop, a diner where some people go to dine. It is the same no matter where you go. And downtown you will find no big surprises. Each fall the dew point falls till it rises. White snow, green buds, green lawn, red leaves, white snow. This is all right. This is their hope. And yet, though what you see is never what you get, it does somehow feel change from what it was. Is it the people, houses, fields, the weather? Is it the streets? Is it these things together? Nothing here ever changes till it does. Thank you.
Okay, next up to the stage, we have Michaela Gennari.
Hi, my poem is No Coward Soul Is Mine by Emily Bronte. No coward's soul is mine. No trembler in the world's storm-troubled sphere. I see heaven's glory shine, and faith shines equal, arming me from fear. O God within my breast, almighty, ever-present deity, life that in me hast rest, as I, undying life, have power in thee. Vain are the 1,000 creeds that move men's hearts, unutterably vain, worthless as withered weeds, or idlest, froth amid the boundless main. To waken doubt in one, holding so fast by thy infinity, so surely anchored on the steadfast rock of immortality. With wide embracing love, thy spirit animates eternal years, pervades and broods above, changes, sustains, dissolves, creates, and rears. Though earth and moon were gone, and suns and universes ceased to be, and thou wert left alone, every existence would exist in thee. There is not room for death, nor atom that his might could render void, since thou art being and breath, and what thou art may never be destroyed. Thank you.
Okay, our next student to the stage is Emily Campagna.
Hi. My poem is To the Notebook Kid by Eve L. Ewing. Oh, it's bright. Yo, chocolate milk for breakfast, kid. One leg of your sweatpants rolled up, scrounging at the bottom of your mama's purse for bus fare and gum. Pen broken, you got ink on your thumb, kid. What's good, hot on the cement, kid? White Castle, kid. Tongue stained purple, cussing on the court till your little brother shows up with half a candy bar, kid. Got that good B in science, kid. You earned it, kid. Etch your name in a tree, hug your granny on her birthday. Thinking of Alaska when they shootin' curled up dreams of salmon. Safety, tundra, the farthest away place you ever saw in a book. Polar bears, your new chess partners, pickaxe in the ice, northern lights, kid. Keep your notebook where your cousins won't find it. Leave it on my desk if you want. Shuffle under carbon paper and a stamp that screams late. Yellow and red to draw the eyes from the ocean you keep hidden in a jacked up 5-star. Your mama thought there was a secret in there. Thought they would laugh, but that ain't it. It's that flows and flows and flows in lines like those rip-roaring bits. You got bars till the end of time. You could rap like helium by the spring, all of it down to you, while the last light pushes from your belly, climbing your ribs, and you laugh into the microphone. And who is ready for that? Thank you.
Okay, we have one more contestant in our first round, so please welcome Maria Benny to the stage.
She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellow to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven tress, or softly lightens o'er her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek and o'er that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent.
Okay, I think we need another round of applause. They all made it through the first round. Great work. So, you guys all had to memorize one poem. This group had to memorize a second poem within the last 5 days. It was serious work. So we're starting our second round with Grace Visco.
Caged Bird by Maya Angelou. A free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends and dips his wing in the orange sun rays and dares to claim the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze, and the trade wind soft through the sighing trees, and the fat worms waiting on the dawn-bright lawn, and he names the sky his own. But a caged bird stands on the grave of dreams. His shadow shouts on a nightmare scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Zion Sharka.
Little Father by Liang Lee. I buried my father in the sky. Since then, the birds clean and comb him every morning and pull the blanket up to his chin every night. I buried my father underground. Since then, my ladders only climb down, and all the earth has become a house, whose rooms are the hours, whose doors stand open at evening, receiving guest after guest. Sometimes I see past them to the table spread for a wedding feast. I buried my father in my heart. Now he grows in me, my strange son, my little root who won't drink milk, little pale foot sunk and unheard of night, little clock spring newly wet in the fire, little grape parent to the future wine, a son, the fruit of his own son, little father I ransom with my life. Thank you.
All right, let's welcome Ivy Saltzman to the stage.
I am back, and so is this poem. This is To the Notebook Kid by Eve L. Ewing. Yo, chocolate milk for breakfast, kid. One leg of your sweatpants rolled up, scrounging at the bottom of your mama's purse for bus fare and gum. Pen broke, and you got ink on your thumb, kid. What's good? Hot on the cement, kid. White Castle, kid. Tongue-stained purple, cussing on the court till your little brother shows up with half a candy bar, kid. Got that good B in science, kid. You earned it, kid. Etch your name in a tree. Hug your granny on her birthday. Think of Alaska when they shootin' curled up dreams of salmon. Safety. Tundra. The farthest away place you ever saw in a book. Polar bears, your new chess partners, pickaxe in the ice. Northern Lights, kid. Keep your notebook where your cousins won't find it. Leave it on my desk if you want. Shuffle under carbon paper and a stamp that screams late. Yellow and red to draw the eye from the ocean you keep hidden in a jacked up 5-star. Your mama thought there was a secret in there, thought they would laugh. But that ain't it. It's that flows and flows and flows and lines like those rip-roaring bits you got, bars till the end of time. You could rap like helium about to spring, all of it down to you, none left in the sun. Fuelless. While the last light pushes from your belly, climbing your ribs. And you laugh into the microphone. And who is ready for that? Thank you.
Okay, next to the stage we have Ananya Gurjar.
Sheltered Garden by H.D. I have had enough. I gasp for breath. Every way ends, every road, every footpath leads at last to the hill crest. Then you retrace your steps or find the same slope on the other side precipitate. I have had enough. Border pinks, clove pinks, wax lilies, herbs, sweet cress. Oh, for some sharp swish of a branch, there is no scent of resin in this place, no taste of bark. Of course, weeds, aromatic, astringent, only border on border of scented pinks. Have you seen fruit under cover that wanted light? Pears wadded in cloth, protected from the frost, melons almost ripe, smothered in straw. Why not let the pears cling to the empty branch? All your coaxing will only make a bitter fruit. Let them cling, ripen of themselves, test their own worth, nip shriveled by the frost to fall at last, but fair with the russet coat. Or the melon. Let it bleach yellow in the winter light, even tart to the taste. It is better to taste of frost, the exquisite frost, than of wadding and of dead grass. For this beauty, beauty without strength, chokes out life. I want wind to break, scatter these pink stalks, snap off their spiced heads, fling them about with dead leaves, spread the pats with twigs, limbs broken off, trail great pine branches, hurl from some firewood right across the melon patch, break pear and quince, leave half trees, torn, twisted, but showing the fight was valiant. Oh, to blot out this garden, to forget, to find a new beauty in some terrible, wind-tortured place. Thank you.
Okay, next up we have Maria Benny.
I Sit and Sew by Alice Moore Dunbar Nelson. I sit and sew, a useless task it seems. My hands grown tired, my head weighed down with dreams. The panoply of war, the martial tread of men, grim-faced, stern-eyed, gazing beyond the ken of lesser souls whose eyes have not seen death, nor learned to hold their lives, but as a breath. But I must sit and sow. I sit and sow. My heart aches with desire, that pageant terrible, that fiercely pouring fire on wasted fields and writhing grotesque things once men my soul in pity flings, appealing cries, yearning only to go there in that holocaust of hell, those fields of woe. But I must sit and sow. The little useless seam, the idle patch. Why dream I here beneath my homely thatch, when there they lie in sodden mud and rain, pitifully calling me, the quick ones and the slain? You need me, Christ. It is no roseate dream that beckons me, this pretty futile seam. It stifles me. God, must I sit and sow?
Okay, next up we have Michaela Gennari.
Meeting Point by Louis McNeice. Time was away and somewhere else. There were 2 glasses and 2 chairs and 2 people with 1 pulse. Someone stopped the moving stairs. Time was away and somewhere else. And they were neither up nor down. And they were neither up nor down. The stream's music did not stop flowing through heather, limp brown, although they sat in a coffee shop, and they were neither up nor down. The bell was silent in the air. Between the clang and clang of flour, a brazen calyx of no noise, the bell was silent in the air. The camels crossed the miles of sand that stretched around the cups and plates. The desert was their own, and they planned to portion out the stars and dates. The camels crossed the miles of sand. Time was away and somewhere else. The waiter did not come. The clock forgot them, and the radio waltz poured like water from a rock. Time was away and somewhere else. Her fingers flicked away the ash that bloomed again in tropic trees, not caring if the markets crashed when they had forests such as these. Her fingers flicked away the ash. God, or whatever means the good, be praised that time can stop like this. That what the heart has understood can verify in the body's peace. God, or whatever means the good. Time was away, and she was here. And life no longer what it was. The bell was silent in the air. And all the room, one glow, because time was away, and she was here. Thank you.
Okay, next to the stage we have Luis Villalta Santana.
My Darling Turns to Poetry at Night by Anthony Lawrence. My darling turns to poetry at night. What began as flirtation and aside between abstract expression and first light now finds form as a silent, startled flight of commas on her face, a breath, a word. Between abstract expression and first light. When rain inspires the night birds to create, rhyme and formal verse stanzas can be made. Between abstract expression and first light. Her heartbeat is a metaphor, a late bloom of red flowers that refuse to fade. My darling turns to poetry at night. I watch her turn. I do not sleep. I wait for a symbols, a sign that fear has died. Between abstract expression and first light. Her dreams have night vision, and in her sight, our bodies leave ghost prints on the bed. My darling turns to poetry at night, between abstract expression and first light. Thank you.
Okay, our final performer for today is Emily Campagna.
I see you, Mom. Propositions by Stephen Dunn. Anyone who begins a sentence with, "in all honesty," is about to tell a lie. Anyone who says, "this is how I feel," had better love for more than disclosure. Same for anyone who thinks he thinks well because he had a thought. If you say you're ugly to an ugly person, no credit for honesty, which must always be a discovery, an act that qualifies as an achievement. If you persist, you're just a cruel bastard, a pig without a mirror, somebody who hasn't examined himself enough. A hesitation hints at an attempt to be honest, suggests a difficulty is present. A good sentence needs a clause or two, interruptions set off by commas, evidence of a slowing down, a rethinking. Before I asked my wife to marry me, I told her I'd never be fully honest. No one, she said, had ever said that to her. I was trying to be radically honest, I said, but in fact had another motive. A claim without a but in it is at best only half true. In all honesty, I was asking in advance to be forgiven. Thank you.
Okay, please give one more huge round of applause for all of these contestants. It is no easy task to get up here, and I thank them, I thank you. You guys all did this in class. It's such a wonderful way to share poetry and to see the talents of the people in BHS. We are going to take a few minutes to tabulate the scores. So I'm going to ask you guys to remain calm and quiet for about 2 minutes before we make the announcement. Bask in some love of poetry, and we will be right back. Okay, everybody, thank you for your patience. We are going to call up to stage all of our finalists. Come on up here. Give you guys another huge round of applause. All right, they have done amazing things. I'm going to, in no particular order, list our runners-up, and then we will announce a third place, second place, and first place. So we want to thank Michaela. Nice job, Michaela. Emily, fantastic. Thank you. Maria, wonderful work. Ivy, thank you very much. Grace, great work. In third place, we have Anyanya Rujar. In second place, Luis Villalta Santana. And in first place, Zion Sharka.
Can I just say something? Mr. Hale, if you're out there, you promised me a birthday party tomorrow in class. I'm just saying.
We are going to, we have members of the Latin Club here to present our laurel crown.
So the laurel tree was the sacred symbol of Apollo, the god of the arts and poetry. So since ancient times, the laurel crown has been used to recognize outstanding achievement in the arts, especially poetry.
Therefore, on behalf of the BHS Latin Club, we present this laurel wreath to BHS's 2018 Poetry Out Loud laureate, Zion Sharka!
Okay, guys, that concludes Poetry Out Loud. One more round of applause. Okay, I'm going to ask all the finalists to hang around. Parents, stay here for a minute. We're going to take some pictures before we head to the luncheon. And what's our timing? Thank you.